I do want to shift gears. This is something that makes me furiously angry. I am extremely anti-death penalty. As anyone who's ever heard me discuss the issue knows.
Why are you so fiercely anti-death penalty? Because of all the poaching of Yetis?
Yes. That's part of it. This is personal for me.
I don't think if anybody bagged your old nemesis from Lewiston, Maine, sassy shame, though, you'd shed a tear. Then again, with all the fur, we probably couldn't see.
You wouldn't see my tears, no.
Oh,
you're right. I wouldn't.
They'd be inside.
I wouldn't. Right. I'd be crying on the inside. Yetis do have feelings.
What about bears?
What about bears?
You're not against capital punishment for bears.
No.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
No, not at all. Texas, because, they love killing in Texas.
Even Yetis.
Yes, they do.
Especially
Yetis. Texas seeks to speed up executions with request to Justice Department, which I'm sure Jeff Sessions will be wildly enthusiastic about. This is from thehill.com. Texas is seeking approval from Attorney General Jeff Sessions to opt into a federal law that would shorten the appeals process for death row inmates, allowing the state to execute prisoners even faster. Fans of the provision say it will speed up the lengthy appeals process for crime victims and save the government money from dragged-out legal proceedings, the Houston Chronicle reported Monday. By the way, so there's more to this, but just a side note to this. So one of the arguments that folks like myself make as a counter-argument to those who like the death penalty, because, people who are pro-death penalty will often say, why are we paying for them? It's actually extraordinarily expensive to execute someone. It actually costs more to execute someone because of the appeals process and all of that than it does to feed them and house them and so forth.
If you give me a moment, I can find it costs California some ungodly amount of money to execute like 10 people.
Yeah.
They don't go through a meat grinder like Texas does.
Yeah.
I mean, while you talk, I will look that up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the meat grinders, they want to make it even faster. However, opponents say that it increases the risk that innocent people will be executed in the state's death chamber in Huntsville. Well, people who are pro-death penalty don't care about that. The law, I'm sorry, I forgot you're pro-death penalty.
How much do you think it costs to execute 13 people in California?
Oh, I don't know. Millions, I'm sure.
$4 billion.
$4 billion?
This is an anti-death penalty site, so it might be
because
but it might not.
It might not. I find that shocking. If that is accurate. Let's see. The law, which dates back to the 1996 Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act. I didn't know
the Effective Death Penalty Act.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
I like it.
Oh.
I wished I'd written that. I'd give it a snappier title, though.
I think it's a pretty snappy title, unfortunately.
Yeah, but when it has to do with terrorism in the military, we get snappy names.
Yeah.
Patriot Act.
Yeah.
The Putz Act we could have, I don't know what it would stand for. But, of course, obviously, Patriot Act. Well, let's see what we can name this thing.
Right, yes. Yeah, so the Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act allows for the state to curb federal appeals in death penalty cases. Right, because why should anyone get their constitutionally guaranteed due process? States have to prove that their lawyers were competent enough to provide sufficient counsel early enough in the judicial process. No state has ever qualified. Sessions recently appealed to Texas and Arizona about receiving certification, the only two states that had previously shown interest. I bet he salivates over this kind of crap. If Sessions approves their motions, which I'm sure he will, it would cut the amount of time attorneys have to investigate appeals cases in half, according to the newspaper. Lawyers would only have 6 months to interview witnesses, hire investigators, and prepare for a case that could be decades old with missing or insufficient evidence.
Missing or insufficient evidence?
Who cares if there's missing or insufficient? Who cares?
Does stuff like that really happen, Matt?
Oh, no. Our government always gets it right.
In 1963, there was a Supreme Court decision, the Brady v. Maryland, where if any type of evidence comes out subsequent to a conviction that would actually benefit a defendant, the prosecutor is obliged under federal law, because it's a decision, to release that information to the defendant and their lawyers.